I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. For years I believed I had the kind of marriage people envy, until little cracks started to show. Odd late nights, strange excuses, and that gut feeling you can't quite shake. One night I stumbled onto something that turned my entire world upside down, and what I found went far beyond what I ever imagined.
To protect the privacy of the author and narrator, all names and locations are fictional, and the voice has been intentionally modified. Enjoy watching.
Hey everyone. Throwaway account because some of my friends know my main. I never thought I'd be here, typing something like this out, but I guess no one ever does until it hits them in the face. I've been married to my wife, Lena, not her real name, for almost 9 years. On the surface, we were one of those couples people would say had it all together. We met in college, dated for 5 years, then got married. We bought a house together, rescued 2 dogs, and for a long time I honestly thought I'd found my best friend and soulmate rolled into one person. But looking back, I realized there were cracks even early on. She always had this slippery way of talking her way out of things. Little lies, like telling me she was stuck at work when she was actually out with friends. Nothing that felt malicious at the time, just odd. I chalked it up to her being private, or maybe wanting to avoid conflict. About a year ago, those little things started piling up. Late-night work calls that she'd take in the car. Weekend trips to see her sister that didn't quite add up, like she'd come home with stories that didn't match what her sister posted on social media. I'd ask casual questions and she'd laugh them off, saying, "You worry too much." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But there's this gut feeling you get when something's wrong, like a low hum in the background of your life that you can't quite shut off. And over the last few months, that hum turned into a roar. That gut feeling I mentioned? It got worse after she started a new job about 6 months ago. At first, I was proud of her. She'd been talking about moving up in her career for years, and this new position seemed like a big step. But almost immediately, her schedule shifted. Suddenly, she had client dinners that ran late into the night. She started sleeping with her phone clutched to her chest or face down on the nightstand. She'd step out of the room to answer calls, whispering in the hallway like she was guarding state secrets. One time, I casually asked why her work calendar didn't match the schedule she'd given me. I didn't mean it as an accusation, I even laughed when I asked, but she snapped at me. Full-on defensive. "Why are you always checking up on me? Do you not trust me or something?" That shook me because I'd never seen her that angry over something so small. And then came the little inconsistencies, like saying she was at a team-building dinner when a coworker's Instagram showed them all at a bowling alley and she wasn't there. Or telling me her car broke down and she was waiting for a tow, only for me to later notice her mileage hadn't gone up at all. I started keeping these things to myself, trying to convince myself I was overthinking. But deep down, I felt the ground shifting under my feet. Something was happening, I just couldn't prove it yet. It all came crashing down one random Tuesday night. She said she'd be working late on a project with her team. Normally, I'd just watch a movie and wait for her to get home, but that night something in me snapped. I needed to know. Around 9:30 p.m., I walked past her laptop in the living room. She usually took it with her, but she'd left in a rush. I hesitated for a good 5 minutes, hands sweating, heart racing. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I opened it. At first, nothing. Work emails, spreadsheets. Then I saw it, a minimized chat window from some messaging app one didn't recognize. When I opened it, my stomach dropped. There they were, messages to someone named Eli. The kind of messages you can't mistake for anything else. Things like, "Last night was insane, I can't stop thinking about you." And photos. Nothing explicit, but definitely intimate, selfies in our bathroom mirror while I was at work, angles I'd never seen her take for me. I just sat there, staring at the screen. My mind went blank, like I couldn't process what I was looking at. Then the dates hit me. These messages went back months. Every late meeting, every weekend with her sister, every lie was right there in black and white. And the worst part? She wasn't even careful. She called me love in one message, then immediately switched to telling him she couldn't wait to be in his arms again. I felt like I was watching my life unravel in real time. I wish I could say I closed the laptop and calmly planned my next move, but I didn't. I kept digging. I went through old emails, cloud backups, anything I could think of. The more I looked, the deeper the hole went. Here's the first twist. It wasn't just Eli. Buried in her deleted messages were fragments of conversations with someone else, a guy named Marcus. The tone was different, more transactional. She was asking him for money, hinting about helping with rent even though we own our house outright. I thought maybe Marcus was some old fling she hadn't cut off. But then I noticed dates. She'd been messaging him on the same night she claimed to be with Eli. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I'd throw up. It was like peeling an onion and finding poison in every layer. I started to wonder if Eli even knew about Marcus. Did they know about me? Then I saw a message from Eli that made my blood run cold. If he gets suspicious again, just tell him I'm the one obsessing over you. He'll buy it. Again. Again? That word echoed in my head. It meant this wasn't the first time I'd almost caught them. And she'd already planned out lies to feed me. I shut the laptop and just sat there in the dark, trying to steady my breathing, my hands shaking like I'd been electrocuted. I thought I'd felt betrayal before, but this was a whole new depth. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the living room staring at the dark screen, rehearsing 100 different ways to confront her. By the time I heard her key in the lock at 1:17 a.m., my heart was thudding so hard I thought she'd hear it before she even opened the door. She came in all casual, tossing her bag on the chair, smiling like nothing was wrong. "Hey babe, sorry it ran so late." I couldn't hold it in. "Who's Eli?" Her face froze mid-sentence. She blinked, then forced out this shaky laugh. "Eli? What are you talking about?" I didn't answer. I just slid the laptop toward her, the chat window already open. Watching her read those messages, watching the color drain from her face, was surreal. She went through a whole performance. First denial, that's not what it looks like. Then gaslighting, you must have misunderstood. He's just a friend from work who flirts too much. Then anger, I can't believe you're spying on me. Do you know how violating this is? I didn't back down. I asked about Marcus. Her eyes darted so fast I almost laughed. "Oh my God, you're insane," she said, but her voice cracked. He lent me money when you wouldn't help with bills." "Bills? We're financially stable. I've always covered things when she needed." The more she talked, the more tangled her web of lies got. She actually tried to tell me that Eli was stalking her, that the messages were manipulated, and that Marcus was just a business contact. I just stood there, numb, listening to her spin stories faster than I could process them. That was the moment I realized she wasn't just lying to cover her tracks. She was good at this. She'd done it before. And she expected me to eat it up again. After that confrontation, I thought I'd feel nothing but anger. But the moment she stormed off to the bedroom, leaving me standing there with my chest hollow, something unexpected hit me: grief. Not just sadness, grief. Like someone had died. Because in a way, someone had, the version of her I thought I knew. I sat on the couch until dawn, going over every memory in our marriage and seeing them in a new, uglier light. That anniversary trip where she spent hours on her phone? Probably messaging him. That night I stayed up making her soup when she was sick? Maybe she was actually coming down from a hotel room with someone else. The betrayal was like acid eating through everything we'd built. One minute I was furious. How could she do this to me, to us? The next minute I was crushed. Was I really that blind, that unlovable, that easy to fool? I even caught myself thinking maybe I was the problem. Maybe I hadn't been enough. Then I'd remember those messages if he gets suspicious again, and the anger would flood back in, hotter than before. It was an emotional whiplash, rage, sorrow, disbelief, and back around again. I barely noticed the sun coming up or the fact that she was still locked in the bedroom, pretending to sleep. I wanted answers. But I also wanted my life back, and I knew I wasn't going to get both. By the next evening, I couldn't stop myself. I needed the whole picture. While she was in the shower, I went through her purse. I know, but at that point I felt like a detective in my own house. Tucked inside a side pocket was a second phone. Not a work phone. Not one I'd ever seen. Unlocked. I opened it and my breath caught. There were more messages, but not to Eli or Marcus. A third name. T. And these weren't romantic. These were calculating. Don't worry, he's buying the story about the bills. I'll get the rest of the money from him soon. Just keep him calm, I'll handle Eli. I felt the floor tilt under me. This wasn't just infidelity. She was managing me like I was some kind of pawn in a game I didn't know existed. Scrolling further, I found what really twisted the knife. Photos of my own car, parked outside our house. He's gone for the weekend. Come over whenever. It wasn't just that she was cheating. It was that she was comfortable enough to invite other men into our home, our bed, and document it like she was proud of herself. When she got out of the shower, I was still holding the phone. I didn't even yell this time. I just looked at her and said, "How many?" She froze, water still dripping from her hair, and for the first time I saw it, pure panic. Not guilt. Panic. That's when I knew the lies went deeper than I ever imagined. I didn't plan it. The words just came out, low and shaking. "How many, Lena? How many guys have you been running this with?" She didn't answer. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. Then she tried the tears. Instant waterworks, like a switch flipped. "You don't understand. I was lonely. You were so distant, I didn't know what else to do." I laughed. Actually laughed, this bitter, hollow sound that didn't feel like me. Lonely? You're juggling 3 men and running some kind of side hustle off our marriage and you're lonely. She dropped to her knees on the carpet, grabbing at my hands. No, it's not like that. Eli was a mistake, Marcus is nothing, and T is, it's complicated, I swear I was going to tell you. Her excuses were like machine gun fire. You've been so focused on work, I felt invisible. It started as just texting, I didn't think it would go anywhere. Marcus needed help, he was going to pay us back. T was only supposed to be temporary, just until I figured things out. And the more she talked, the more absurd it got. She actually said, I did this to protect us. I felt my chest tighten. I didn't trust myself to speak. For a moment I just stared at her, kneeling there with mascara streaking down her face, spinning lie after lie, like maybe if she threw out enough of them one would stick. But then she said something that flipped everything. If you just give me a week, I can fix this. I can make it all go away. Go away? What exactly was she planning to do in a week? That's when I realized she still thought she could control the narrative. Even now. That line, I can make it all go away, kept echoing in my head long after she'd locked herself in the bathroom to calm down. I sat there in our living room, staring at the wall, and something inside me shifted. Up until that point, I'd been reeling, hurt, blindsided. But now? Now I was curious. What exactly did she think she could fix? I grabbed her second phone again. Scrolled further back. And that's when I noticed something I'd missed before. Bank transfer screenshots. Receipts. Names I didn't recognize, men and women. Some with payments labeled consulting, others with vague emojis. One thread in particular caught my eye. A message from T. Don't forget to clear the joint account before he files. You deserve more than half. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just cheating. This wasn't even just manipulation. She was planning something financial. I opened our bank's app on my own phone and checked the joint account. Thousands were missing. Not in one big withdrawal, but in tiny chunks over months. I hadn't noticed because she handled most of the day-to-day expenses. It hit me all at once. She was cheating. She was stealing. And she was already setting up her exit. A week ago I would have begged her to explain. Now? I felt something else entirely, a strange calm, like a storm passing over. Because for the first time in days, I knew one thing for certain. I wasn't going to be the one blindsided anymore. I didn't tell her what I'd found. Not yet. Instead, I started documenting everything. Screenshots of her chats. Copies of the bank statements. I even took photos of that second phone screen with my own device, just in case she wiped it. I spent the next 2 days pretending. Pretending to go to work, pretending to believe her sudden wave of affection, coffee in bed, random I love you texts, even cooking dinner, which she never did. She thought she was smoothing things over. She didn't know I'd already spoken to a lawyer during my lunch break. Here's where another twist hit me. The lawyer pointed out that if I stayed under the same roof while documenting her financial activity, it would make the case stronger. So I stayed. Smiled. Even kissed her goodnight. It was the most surreal feeling in the world, lying next to someone who thought they were pulling the strings while you quietly cut every one of them. Then, on the third night, I got another surprise. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. You don't know me, but you need to know she's been doing this for years. I can prove it. Attached were photos, screenshots of her old dating profiles, her messages with yet another man, dated 2 years before we got married. My hands went numb. This wasn't a new pattern. This was Lena. I stared at that message for a long time, wondering if it was some cruel prank. But the details, they were too specific. Photos of her tattoos before she had them touched up. A screenshot of a conversation where she mentioned my exact car, the one I'd bought in college before we were even engaged. I replied cautiously. Who are you? The response came almost instantly. I dated her before you. She did the same thing to me, 3 guys at once, money gone, then she vanished. I saw your name on a bill she accidentally left on an old email. I thought you should know before she does it again. My stomach turned. This guy, let's call him Jay, sent me a long list of details. Times, places, even a photo of him and Lena together at a hotel. And just like that, another layer peeled back. She hadn't suddenly changed into this person. She'd always been this person. What hit me hardest wasn't even the cheating anymore. It was realizing that the 9 years I thought I'd spent building a life with someone might have just been 9 years of being played. I thanked Jay, saved everything he sent, and just sat there in the dark, listening to Lena in the shower humming like nothing in the world was wrong. In that moment, the sadness turned into something sharper, resolve. Because now I knew exactly who she was, and I wasn't going to let her rewrite the ending. The next morning, Lena acted like the perfect wife. She woke up early, made pancakes, she's made pancakes maybe twice in our entire marriage, and kissed me on the cheek while humming some pop song. If I hadn't known better, I would have thought things were normal. But I knew. And I kept playing my part. Over the next couple of days, I quietly moved some of my most important belongings, my late dad's watch, some documents, my backup hard drive, into my car while she was out. I transferred my paycheck into a separate account she didn't know about. Meanwhile, she was still texting whoever these men were, thinking I was in the dark. I'd watch her from the kitchen doorway as she tapped away on that second phone, smiling to herself. She'd catch me looking and say something like, "Work drama. Don't ask." And I'd smile back. Of course. Inside, I felt like I was living in a movie where the villain doesn't know the hero already knows everything. One night, while she was on a call with a client, I heard her whisper. Just a few more days. He has no idea. My heart thudded in my chest. A few more days until what? Until she drained the rest of our joint savings? Until she disappeared? I didn't know exactly what her endgame was, but I wasn't going to wait to find out. I called my lawyer the next morning. We set a date. The date we picked came faster than I expected. That morning, I woke up before Lena. She was curled up beside me, breathing softly, like someone who hadn't spent years lying through her teeth. For a second, just a second, I almost believed the illusion again. But then I remembered the screenshots, the messages, the second phone. And the illusion shattered all over again. I left for work like usual, but instead of heading to the office, I went straight to the bank. Closed the joint account. Froze the credit cards. Changed every password she might know. At noon, I met with my lawyer, signed papers to start the divorce process, and made sure everything we'd documented was ready to go. Then I went home early. She was on the couch, laughing at something on her phone. Back already, she said, setting the phone down with that fake smile she'd perfected. I didn't answer. I just set a folder on the coffee table, photos, screenshots, bank records spilling out. Her smile faltered. What's this? You tell me, I said. My voice was calm, too calm. She flipped through the papers, her face going pale. Then came the act again, tears, apologies, begging. You don't understand, I was scared, I thought you didn't love me anymore, I didn't mean for it to go this far. But this time, I didn't argue. I just said, it's over, Lena. I know everything. I'm done. She lunged for my arm, but I stepped back. For once, she looked truly speechless. And for the first time in weeks, I felt steady. The calm didn't last long. When Lena realized I wasn't going to fold, the mask came off completely. You can't just leave me like this, she screamed, tears still streaking her face but her voice sharp as broken glass. You think you're some kind of hero? After everything I've put up with from you. I almost laughed at that, but I stayed quiet. That seemed to infuriate her even more. You're nothing without me, she hissed. You'd be living in some crappy apartment still fixing your own meals if it weren't for me. You think anyone else will want you? It was like watching a stranger wear my wife's face. And then, another twist I didn't see coming, she grabbed her second phone and actually called someone. Right in front of me. He knows. You need to come get me. Now. I just stood there, stunned, until she turned back to me with this icy little smile. You think you're leaving me? Cute. Watch how fast I drain what's left in your name before you can blink. But what she didn't know, what made me feel that same strange, steady calm again, was that the accounts were already closed, the cards already cancelled, the lawyer already ahead of her. Her face when her call to the bank came up empty. I'll never forget it. The manipulative confidence cracked, replaced by pure disbelief. She tried screaming again, tried crying, even tried threatening. I didn't raise my voice once. I just packed my overnight bag, picked up my folder of evidence, and walked out the front door. For the first time in years, the air outside felt clean. It's been 3 weeks since that day, and I'm writing this from a small rented apartment across town. The divorce is in motion. My lawyer tells me, thanks to all the documentation, she won't see a penny more than she's legally entitled to, and she definitely won't be draining me dry like she planned. At first, those first nights alone were brutal. I'd wake up reaching for her out of habit, then remember who she really was. I went through all the stages, anger, grief, that hollow disbelief where you think, did that really happen? Did I really live with someone like that for 9 years? But with every day that passes, I feel lighter. I've started running again, just to clear my head. I cut ties with a few mutual friends who sided with her without even asking my side. And I've been reconnecting with people I pushed away during the marriage, people who actually care. The biggest lesson? Pay attention to the little lies. They're never really little. And if something feels off, trust that feeling, because the truth will come out eventually, whether you're ready or not. To anyone reading this in a similar situation, document everything. Don't confront until you're ready. Protect yourself financially and emotionally before you make your move. And remember, being alone is 1,000 times better than being lied to in your own home. I'm not healed yet. But for the first time in years, I feel like me again. And that's worth everything. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new stories.